Hi folks, welcome back to the Deranged Reader. So, yeah. Oh my lord, I am absolutely exhausted right now. So happy Tuesday everybody. I was going to wait until tomorrow to do this video, but I did finally finish the second author in this, what I would call the monster book of horror. Um, that's not its title, of course, but it's like, yeah, it's a monster book of horror. Before I begin, last year I got my first Nightworms subscription box, and I got two books, and I forgot the title of it because it's right over there right now, and I'm not going to get up to pick it up. But I finally got around to actually start reading that book. I'm on chapter 3. I just wanted to kind of get a taste of it to see if it was something that I was interested in. The horror has not yet started in the book, so I'm going to give it more time. But the first two chapters are very well written, and I am reading it as a physical edition. Duh, came in a Nightworm subscription box. Alright, so, I'm back reading on my Kobo, and I want to say that normally I would be doing a video once a week. However, this coming Saturday is going to be the 2-month anniversary of owning this device, and I will be doing a 2-month review of the device and everything. So this one, I believe it has 5 stories, and is written by a Russian author. I cannot pronounce his name. I'm actually going to put his name down below in the description box. I don't know what year he was born. I'm going to guess he might have been born last century, like in the 19th century. I'm actually going to go and double check because I don't know what year he was born. Okay, he was born in 1871 and died in 1919. Alright. Okay. So, I do believe that there is a total of alright, there is 4 stories. The first one is Lazarus, the second one is Little Angel, the third one is The 7 That Were Hanged, and the fourth one is Silence. So, alright, so from what I'm getting from the time period that this author was born, this was during the time that the czars were ruling Russia. So there is, in Lazarus, there is a heavy religious theme in the book, in this story, because, of course, he's Christian. Though it'd be more like he's Russian Orthodox. And so he was born in a time right like, as I said before, that the czars were ruling, probably saw the coronation of Tsar Nicholas, and definitely was there when the czar and his family fell in a really nasty and painful way. But getting back to the story. So Lazarus is the story of basically Lazarus. That he's the one that in the Bible Jesus raised up from the dead. But it goes a little further than that one moment. So one of the great things about a moment in a book, you can always expand upon it, and you can always add stuff to it. And Lazarus is cursed in a sense in the story, and he's immortal, and and if you do manage to kill him, he will come back from the dead. That is his curse in the book. And he watches people that were at one time very happy that he was back kind of drift away, which is generally what happens in life. People drift away. The story was really interesting because he went all the way to the Roman Empire. He went to the Roman Emperor, and the Emperor asked him, "Are you Christian?" And Lazarus naturally says, "No, I'm not." And he's like, great, He has relations with women, which is kind of weird. I don't really know if he has relations with men or like one man. I don't really know. But I do know that he did have relations with a woman that was not his wife. Because it's kind of like outside of like what's considered like acceptable, just for the fact is he was raised from the dead. I found this story to be interesting because it kind of tries to explain what Lazarus did after Christ raised him from the dead. That is, if you believe that, but it's a story. It's a story. Then the next one is The Little Angel. This one, I really don't remember much about this story, or even at all. And this is just coming from someone, I read it, but I don't really remember, like, anything about it. The third one, the 7 that were hanged, they are all, like, charged with being, like, assassins, and I don't know what year that he wrote this particular story, because it's kind of like the collection of his short stories. But it is, I believe it's like 2 women and 5 men. And so they're scheduled to be executed, and it goes through, each chapter leads up to the actual, like, hanging. And of course, they're all terrified of death. They're all terrified of death. Like, who would not be terrified of death? Unless you have a medical condition where you experience, where people think you're dead. But but people outside that particular medical condition, they are afraid of death. You don't know what exists beyond this life, and so of course you're terrified of death. And so one by one, they are brought to the gallows, except for one who, I believe, they shoot him because he did not want to hang alone. It is an interesting story about not just how their lives have changed and how they're all heading to the same place at the end, but about how the families of the 7 try to handle the fact their loved one is not going to be around anymore. That was actually the longest of them all. And then we have Silence, which is essentially just about this woman called Vera, and she's completely and absolutely silent. And it's like, at the end of it, this priest is like, he heads back home to be with his wife, and his wife is also silent, which is weird. I'm going to say that that I did enjoy this story a lot. I thought that out of all of them, the one that really struck me the most was the 7, about the 7 that hang. And it's like just how he's able to either expand on an event or create a whole new story. And I really did enjoy that. Okay, so that is my video. I will be, even though my banner on my channel says I do videos once a week, I will be reading from Anonymous, The Dead Man of Varley Street. I officially have 208.4 hours to go on this book. This book is going to take me quite a long time to finish, so I'm thinking about upping it to twice a week, but on my days off. So yeah, and the only reason that I'm doing it tonight is because, first of all, I wanted to get the stories finished, and two, I got out of work at noon. So yeah. Alrighty, so that is my video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.